Hey guys, it's Sandra with Sandra Jean Design, and today I wanted to run you through my process of how I sew leather patches onto my hats. So there's a bunch of ways that you can attach your leather patches to your hats. You can glue them, you can heat press them on with a special adhesive that you attach to the back of the patch, or you can sew them, which is what I like to do. The machine that I'm using is a Techsew 5100 SE, and it's a really cool machine because you can sew the hats on, or it comes with an attachable table, so you can do flat work. Like I sew my leather bags with it. I can do beanies with it, and it just makes it a lot more versatile than your standard sewing machine. The sewing machines that you would get from Joann's or Walmart or something like a Singer or whatever, those don't have the space that you need to be able to run your hats through to sew those patches on properly. So I wouldn't recommend starting out with one of those. So the reason why I got the Techsew 5100 SE is because it has a huge space in it, as you can see in this picture, and it allows you to manipulate the hats so that you can get those patches on properly. Plus it has bigger needles so that you can get through the leather. There's a lot of twisting and turning that goes on when you run your patches through, and needles will break, and you need to use a stronger thread than your standard, like you're sewing a regular a garment or something like that. And another reason why I like to sew the patches on is for durability. A lot of my customers are ranchers and they run their hats through this washing machine, and glue, if you only glue your patches on, then you're going to end up with patches falling off, and really creates I wouldn't say an inferior product, it's just not as durable. So I'll glue them on and then sew them on. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing here is unsnapping the back of the hat and removing the little cardboard insert that they use to hold it up. And then I'm dropping the needle right in the corner of the bottom left corner of the patch. And that gives me a good spot to line up to. And then got my thread caught there. So if you can see the lines, I ran some lines around the edge of the patch, and that's my stitch guide. And that's what I use to make my stitches nice and straight. And this machine goes really slow. It will literally go one stitch at a time with one press of the pedal. And then right here, I'm just dropping the needle into the corner and turning. And you can see I press the crown of the hat just a little bit so that I can get it flat. And that first stitch, you have to be really careful. You have to do it manually so that you don't end up with a longer stitch because it presses on the bill. And then manually dropping that needle into the corner for the turn. And then you can see there I squished the crown down just a little bit more to keep it flat. And this is where a post arm machine would work really well, so you don't have to smash down the crown of the hat. But once you're done, you can pop it out and smooth it out, and you can't even tell. And so I always start on the bottom left corner and work my way across the bottom of the patch first, right along the bill there. And then when I come down to the corner here, you want to drop your needle right into that first stitch that you made, right on the outside edge there. Make your turn, and then I usually go 2 or 3 stitches right back in the same holes that I made on my first pass. And then you clip your strings out And then here, you want to pull your threads out towards to the inside of the hat so that you can clip everything off. There you can see I'm using a weeding tool to pull the thread out. And then if it doesn't go all the way through, you can just clip it off the front there real close, and then most of the time it'll just pull right through. There, it popped right out. Then you clip your threads down to about 1/4 of an inch because you're going to burn them next with the lighter. And the thread that I'm using is a bonded nylon, so it melts really nice. And when you burn it down almost to the very bottom. And once it gets down to the bottom, you just smush it down and it attaches itself to the hat and it doesn't come off. And you snap it all back together, smooth it out. And then sometimes I'll use either the lighter or the back of my metal scissors to smooth down the leather and try to get some of the marks out from the stitches, and there you go. Thanks for watching today's video on how to sew leather patches onto hats. If you have any questions on anything that I showed you today, please drop that in the comments below. And if there's a video that you'd like to see on something specific, please let me know. You can either drop it in the comments or shoot me an email. That's also down in the description. And for my next video, I will be showing you how I set up my artwork in Adobe Illustrator and send it over to the laser to be engraved and cut. Until then, go out there and design the life you love. See you next time.